Tell me if you can hear me. I always forget that no matter how I make my background, it shrinks it when it starts doing the live. So just let me know if you can hear me because I want to make sure that I was having trouble with my camera and my mic. Oh yeah, I think it's working. Just confirm that you can hear me. I'm using my laptop today instead of my phone because I like the being able to do it horizontal, but which is like using the Mac. My Steven's just walking by, but he doesn't want to be on camera today at this moment. But Lena does. She's coming over now too. Anyways, yes, the living room did get painted, which is very exciting, but I'm not ready to show it yet. So I'm going to wait till I bring the Christmas decorations down, which is going to be this week, and get stuff ready. So I just grabbed on our bookshelves in the dining room, kind of each shelf or two shelves, like all the books are in categories. And then I have some ornaments and stuff on the same shelf. So these are I have a lot more gardening books than these, but these are my favorite gardening books, special ones and everything else. And then some of the ornaments that I have on the shelf. But again, I didn't know how much, because I haven't used my laptop before, I didn't know how much would be visible on here. But this is a set that I got as a gift a few years ago. And it's just a really cute thing. So it sits on my shelf. And then a few of these are gifts I got this year too, including that watering can on the corner. It has little jams and stuff in it. I just got that for my birthday from my mother and father-in-law. So yes. And that book that's right there that says Gardening Secrets, that is something that I thieved from my parents. So alrighty, it is another day, and my day has been off. That's it, just an off day. Things not going to plan, hence being 20 minutes late for this. Again, when I tried to do my laptop, then when I went on Facebook, it said that my camera and video and microphone, sorry, didn't have access, and then I did it on the website and then on my computer, and it was just. So I was here, but I wasn't live yet. And then, as you can tell, my hair is super wet. It was just like I had a lot of gray, so I dyed my hair today just doing my roots. And then I just rinsed it and then making supper. And today, of course, is probably our first, it's going down to 2 tonight, which I know my Canadian people are like, oh, poor you guys. But it's probably my first frost day, so I had to put a bunch of plants into the greenhouse and into the guest house and stuff to stay out of the frost. So that took me a lot of the time today. I just want to know in the comments oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Are Mom and Melody on yet? Mom and Melody, are you on yet? Let me just check on my phone to see if it shows up better here. Okay. Mom, Melody, let me know you're on because I want to tell this story, but I want to tell it when I know that Mom's watching. I know my mom sent me a message. I didn't check it. It just came up on my phone and said, "Where's Lisa?" And I know that was when it was 10 minutes after 8, so I was already late then. Just the dog coming in. Lena, if you come here, you got to come up. You got to show yourself. Come here. Not just your breathing. Oh, Lena. There went my can of pop. Come here. Mummy's baby. Mummy's baby. What? Okay, go away then. Okay, so yes, I see that people are watching, but nobody's really talking to me. I have some stories to tell, and I have a special guest today, and I need to know that my mom and my sister are watching. I'm just gonna have to shout here. I don't know if I can mute my microphone, but just give me a second. I need to shout for a towel. Aurora! I might have to run and get a towel. Okay, Mom, you're there? Okay, good. So, why am I getting interference again? Am I cutting out? Because my phone is on the side here and it keeps saying that I don't know if it says lost or connection problem or something. Aurora has her music on in the kitchen, of course, too, so she can't hear me. Just give me 1 second. I need to run and grab a towel to clean up the can of pop that. Okay, Mom, it's okay if Melody's not on. You can tell her the story, but Aurora! Lena knocked over my pop. Yeah, can you get a dirty towel from the? Yeah. Thank you. That's okay. Don't worry about it. So yeah, that was Allison. She's gonna grab me a towel. So Mom gave me a recipe last week, and we talked about it. It was called Never Fail Buns, and I said that I would make them before. This is all wet. I said that I would make them this week so that I could talk about them on this live. So I got the ingredients and I made it. And you can keep yeast in the freezer, but what I've learned now is that yeast out of the freezer is good for 6 months. Yeast in the freezer. Okay. No, those are clean towels that I need to put in the dryer. The ones on the floor. Yeah, that one's good. Thanks. Okay, this is what my day's been like. So I'm going to turn the volume up on my phone so that even if people bing, you can't hear it. The buns. So I bought all the ingredients. Yeast. If you buy yeast, it's good for 6 months if you leave it outside of the freezer. But if you put it in the freezer, which is what I was taught to do, it is good for 2 years. I didn't know that. I thought it was indefinitely. Well, I had to look up why didn't my bread rise. So the recipe is called Never Fail Buns. I am a failure. That's my dough. There you go. That's my dough for the regular ones. And making Steve some wholemeal ones. And that's my dough. So it never rose the first time, let alone punching it down for it to rise the second time. And so I'm going to buy the ingredients again this week and I'm going to try again. So Mom, of course, it's called Never Fail Buns. Leave it to me to be the one who makes them fail. But I thought maybe it wasn't warm enough in my living, like I put them in the dining room, sort of near the radiator. So I didn't want them on top of the radiator, but near it on the dining room table so that it would be warm enough for it to rise. But I tried it with the oven on low and the door open and just a little bit of warm and a container of water in there, and they still didn't rise. So I think my yeast is dead. So I will try again this week and let you know how the buns turn out. The other thing that I was going to talk about this week is sometimes I don't see your comments when they come up. So even if I'm looking at the comments, some of them are later than, when I scroll through them later, I see them. So last week I talked about me falling through the roof, in the attic, the loft, falling through the ceiling into my bedroom and my feet dangling into my bedroom. But my sister had commented about the other time I fell through a roof, and I didn't see that, so I said I would talk about it this week. In the UK, for some of the buildings, they use a type of, Samantha, comment and tell me what the stuff is called again. The corrugated, yeah, that's what I think it's called, corrugated roof. It's like tiley corrugated stuff. But a lot of places have signs up that say do not do not stand on it, do not go on the roof. Basically, it works as a roof, but it's really thin. So I didn't know that. And the garages that are by our house, they're council garages, they back onto our property. So some of the shrubs when I moved in here were overgrown and growing on top of the roof of the garage. So I went up a ladder and I tried to trim them, and I went up on the roofs to try and trim them back even more. And it was light, and then all of a sudden it was dark, and I landed in a squat, and then I stood up, and then I leaned on this car and just tried to get my bearings. What just happened? Okay, well, I fell through the corrugated roof into one of the garages, and there happened to be a car in there. Luckily, I landed beside the car. Didn't, but when I fell, because they're made of cement, um, when I fell, my head hit the back of the cement right under here, and that really hurt. But there was no long-lasting injuries, except that now I am stuck in a garage on the floor with a lock on the garage. So I'm locked in a dark garage. Of course, I didn't have my cell phone, and I didn't know. If I did hear Thomas out in the garden, but then I was shouting and he couldn't hear me. And then I saw through one, because the doors of the garage were made of wood, and there was some of the holes from the knots in the wood, when the knots come out. I saw an eyeball looking in through the hole, and it was a neighbor that I hadn't met. This is how I first met him. And I explained what happened and asked him to go around into my back garden and pass me the ladder through the hole so I could climb out of the. So it was a funny story, but it did hurt my head. And it was a weird experience to just be in light and then dark, like instantly. It happened so fast, and falling, like I can't explain it. It's crazy. And then you think about falling off a ladder or injuries, how quickly they can happen. So yeah, sorry, it bugs me when my hair is back like this and then all you can see is like as if I'm bald. So that's why I try to put the pony on the top. So I'm going to take it out and do it again. Just give me a second. I can hear the dryer in the background too, so I know that it's dry because my washing machine. Yes, I got behind. I was drying one item, so I'm one load behind in the dryer. So a basket of towels, as you know from Allison bringing me out wet towels. Those are a basket of clean towels. So yes, as I said, my day has just been one thing after the other, and I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just, things aren't going to order. No, that is a real story, Merwin. That happened to me. I fell through a corrugated roof and hit my head and was stuck in a garage that was locked for. It wasn't very long before the neighbor. I think I don't know if he heard a crash or if he saw what happened. I can't remember now. Now I got a little thing here too. And he rescued me, but yeah. So that is a true story. That happened about 4 years ago, or maybe 5 years ago. I can't remember exactly when. So I'll stop moving around and tell me what you guys want to talk about. Those are my two stories about my failed bread and my failed and my and me falling through the roof. Other than having a special guest soon, you guys will have to give me topics to talk about. I'm just it wasn't, yes, Marin, it was, I mean, it is horrible, and that's what I said. Had I been injured seriously, it could have been quite bad. Luckily, I wasn't injured very bad, so. Lena didn't empty the whole can when she knocked it over. I have to also see how, sometimes when people sign on and they're watching, it'll tell me to add them to the conversation. But I know this person is watching, but I don't know when and how I add them when I'm ready to add them. So, message, does this do? Contact, friends. Give me a second to figure this out. Not sure. What else do we have on here? If somebody knows how to do this, let me know. Okay, stream graphics, video clippings, polls, questions, help. Oh, you can allow viewers to rewind. Turn on auto-generated captions. I don't know what that means. Allow viewers to message you. Okay, does anybody know how to add someone to a conversation? Wow. At broadcast, this is a spherical video. Go live with your 360 or 180-degree video. Interesting stuff. Maybe I should have looked this up before, hey? I don't know how to see who's following me as well. I know, like, I mean, who's watching. I can see how many people are watching. Wow. Okay, so has it been choppy? Have you guys had problems hearing me? I know Samantha said that she didn't have trouble hearing me, but it shows on here too that it's been having a bit of problems with the connection, and that might just be my internet or my laptop, because my laptop's really. This is interesting. There's so many things to do, and I know that there's Zoom or Instagram you can do videos from, or other things too. So, okay, let me just talk to you guys instead of playing around, and I'll figure it out. I did cover it with a towel to keep the moisture in, Mom, and yes, my yeast was too old and dead, and that is why it didn't work. So it's a bunch of wasted dough, but I'll throw it out and I'll try again. I didn't know that yeast went bad if it was frozen. Okay, good to know, Samantha. Samantha, can you quickly look up for me how to add someone to a live video once it's live? Please, thank you. And so I don't know where my sister is. Another week missed. I know she'll watch it later, and that's okay. So this week. Oh, okay. So did I tell you? Yes, I did at the beginning of the video. I said that we got the living room and dining room painted. So I moved everything from the living room, which was easier, to the dining room. And then we got the living room painted. So that was Monday and Tuesday, and then put everything Tuesday night from the dining room into the living room, and then the dining room was painted on Wednesday, Thursday. So on Friday, I was able to put everything back, start putting everything back and making things nice. But as what happens is that now that the walls are really nice, you think the lampshades need to be cleaned. I mean, not lampshades, but we have like these glass wall lights, sconces, is that what they're called? And so I needed to clean the shades before I put them back up, and then the blinds, needed to be cleaned before I put them back up, and the picture frames need to be dusted and cleaned, and you just want everything to look nice. So it's taken me longer than, to put things back. And then you wonder if now that the holes are filled on the wall and everything else, do you want to hang things in the same place? Do you want to change it up a bit? We want to get a new couch, so that'll be black leather, especially for allowing the dog to go on it. Cloth couches and animals, it's a bit of a smelly thing. So using the carpet cleaner, but with the upholstery adapter, cleaning it isn't a fun job to do lots. So, but I will do it before we sell this one. So new couch, and then what's going to go with that and everything else. But I'm very excited about it. I'm bringing the Christmas decorations down, and I'm thinking that I'm just going to do more of a simple. Like I talked to Allison about this because this is what I do. I just babble to the children, even if they don't care. But I think I'm going to just go through bring them all down, which is a big job in itself. But go through them and then choose certain things and make it more of a simple look, but really, nice. And then I can use some of the other decorations that I don't use in the living room, dining room around the house. Really? Oh, that's unfortunate. I can only add someone to my live if I'm on my phone. Well, that kind of messes things up for having a live. I'm just wondering if I should save the guest for next week or if I should at 30 minutes stop on my laptop and go on to my phone so that I can have the guest. Vote. You guys who are watching now, just vote and tell me in the comments what you guys think I should do. Should I switch devices in 9 minutes so that I can have my guest who I was planning on having, or should I save it for next week? So I don't know if I should go with a green and red strictly design for the Christmas decorations, or if I should do like a silvery white one. Or okay, that's one person who said next week. And while you're commenting, give me some ideas of what to talk about. I can tell you what else I did with the week. I was outside a bit and I tried to take advantage of the fact that somebody else was painting. So I cleaned my bedroom. I went outside and did stuff out there. And I can't remember what else, but oh, did I do it? Sorry, I'm just mumbling. I don't know if I told you guys about the Ninja last week, but we bought a Ninja Foodie, and I added pictures to Facebook yesterday. So a Ninja Foodie Max, and it does like steaming, pressure cooking, air crisping. You can make yogurt in it, yogurt, and broil and saute, and all like so many different features. It has 9 features that you can do. I know I'm missing a few, but so me and Steve have just been using the Ninja like since we got it a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's only been a week and a half, I think, because it was on Friday last week that so not 2 days ago, but the other Friday, the week before, that him and I both went grocery shopping, thinking of all these recipes that we were going to use the Ninja for. And when we got home, we unfortunately, I hadn't taken up fish, so I had to give it up to him. And I okay, good. People are giving me ideas to talk about. So the Ninja, we've been making like stew and bolognese and chili and like crispy chicken wings because it does a dry crisp instead of a deep fryer, and it's just been lovely. So yesterday I made a beef stew and I used red wine vinegar in it, and it was so awesome. And that's what we had for tea yesterday. And most of it got eaten. Like even the kids just took so much of it. So tonight there was only enough for me and Steve to have some. The girls had pasta with ground beef and tomato soup for supper instead. But I'm looking forward to eating my stew because I didn't have time yet to eat it. But it was really tasty yesterday. So in the comments, I have to do the guest spot next week, which I will. I'll set up for next week and do it from my phone so that I can have the guest. Hi, Jody. Long time no see. It's great to see that you're watching. And yes, so I will talk about my workout, and then I will talk about Christmas Day and traditions. So working out, trying to think, 5, 6, 7. So I think today's day 97 straight of me working out. I guess if last Sunday was 90 days, then today would be 97. So I do yoga 5 days a week, which is Monday to Friday. Usually, if I miss a day, then I'll do it on the weekend. And on Mondays, I do standing poses. On Tuesdays, I do twists. On Wednesdays, I do back bends. On Thursdays, I do forward bends. And on Fridays, I do hip openers. And it's Rodney Yee's AM yoga. Should do it in the morning, but sometimes my workouts end up being later in the day. Then I do Jillian Michaels' 30-day shred, and I do level 1 for 10 days, level 2 for 10 days, and level 3 for 10 days, and that's 30 days, and then I start again. And that's my workout. So it's like the hard workouts, I get like 20 minutes of yoga, and then 25 minutes of the shred. It's 20 minutes of the shred, but it's a few minutes of warm up and cool down at the end. So the 45-minute workout about in a day. And during the week, and then on the weekends, I just do the shred. So 25 minutes. And so I'm on my 4th set of 30 days, and we'll see how it works. I like how I'm looking so far, and I've showed you guys before. I mean, I'm sitting down right now, but it's slowly but surely working. And as I said before, you don't get to being overweight overnight. It's a process, and you're not going to get to being at your goal overnight. It's a process. You just have to stick with it. And we get to this point where we feel like it's not working, or we're not seeing the results we want to see, not quick enough, and you're thinking, I'm doing all this work. And don't give up. Don't stress about it. If you're doing the work, even from day one, it's changing things in your body. You cannot do physical work and it not change your body. It just you can't. So you just got to stick with it. Okay, so Christmas letters. I don't send Christmas cards and Christmas letters anymore, and it does make me sad because it was one of my favorite things to do. But with the job that Steve has and as many people as he knows, this is my day. My light just went off. I'll fix that in a minute. Let me shout my daughters. Allison! My light just went off because my portable charger died. Do you have a portable charger, or do you have a block so I can plug in my light to right there? I know.
I do not have.
Run upstairs and get a block.
Hurry! Where?
In your room. No. I know you have some. Let me take a drink. It might make me happier. Oh, well, that's good. Merwin, I can give you a link to what I do for working out, and it's 20 minutes a day, like I said, and it works. It's hard enough to make it worth it, but as soon as you feel like, oh, I can't do another one of these movements, it's over. Like it's a really good workout. I've been doing it for years. I really enjoy it. And unless it wasn't working for me, unless I plateaued and it wasn't working, then I wouldn't do it anymore. So, oh, sorry, Jody, back to the Christmas letters and Christmas cards. That was one of my favorite things to do, and I love doing it. But with the job that Steve's in and the amount of people that he knows, he doesn't do Christmas cards for a few reasons, because it would be impossible for him to give one to everybody that he knows and that he comes in contact with through his businesses and stuff. And he also says that they're bad for the environment, and it's true that if most people don't keep them, like me, I keep everything, but most people just recycle them anyways. It's also expensive to send out so many, and we're in a different time period now, like where traditionally when you would send out letters and stuff like that, and cards, it was to update people on your year and how things have been. Well, with Facebook and other social media sites, we do that all the time anyways, so there's no need to have to send them out. I was thinking of maybe doing like an email version where I send out a family picture, a letter, and a card, because that would be like the next best thing. But that's much better. Luckily, I dragged an extension cord all the way across the dining room and living room because the plugs out here are full right now, and plugged in my laptop. So there's an extra plug. It just has two on this extension lead, and I just plugged in a block to plug in the USB part for my lights. That is, I love these lights. Don't get me wrong, I really love these lights, but it's a USB on the end. It would be nice if it had both, to plug into a wall or to plug into a USB. But also, it would be even better if, because it's USB, it came with its own like little block. That's what we call them, because when Apple came out, theirs were a cube shaped thing with prongs. So we just ended up calling it a block. And that's, yes. So Christmas. So speaking of Christmas traditions, Christmas letters were one of my traditions, and yeah, they were just stuffed with goodness, and I loved it. But uh, traditional Christmas. Let me think. So in Canada, it was a bit different with my family. Um, we would go to midnight mass because I was raised Catholic, so we would probably go to midnight mass. For those of you who don't know, that's literally church at midnight on Christmas Eve. And the best part of that was not necessarily church, but when we would get back home, we would have like a layout of like cheese and crackers and pickles and oysters and like all the good little snacks and hors d'oeuvres and everything. So we would stay up even later. And then you would wake up in the morning for Christmas morning. And of course, everybody, including kids or adults who are just too excited, would get up. And growing up, we would pass out all the gifts to the people's names. And us kids would, and this is even as adults, we would fight over who gets to hand out the gifts. When we were younger, we would go around and let each person open one. But as people started having spouses and the grandkids, it just became too long to watch everybody one at a time to open them. So uh, the last Christmas I had in Canada before I moved here, it worked out well where we let the kids all opened their gifts, and we went around one at a time for the grandkids and then that way we got to see them all. And then the adults opened their gifts after the kids were done. I think we ate lunch in between, actually, and then the adults went back and we opened our gifts. So I liked doing it that way. So if you have a huge family or a lot of grandkids and stuff, that was a good idea. Here, it's like we still leave out milk, and well, actually, so in Canada, it's milk and cookies that you leave out. Samantha, I need you to write something. I can't remember. What do they leave out here for Santa? I can't remember what they leave out for Santa, but it's a bit different. And then they leave out carrots for the reindeers. And then we go to bed and we wake up in the morning when we get up. And then we do pass out all the gifts. Then for us, we do one at a time. Can't remember if there's different ways that they do it here. I know, like for birthdays, when in Canada we have the candles, we quietly make a wish. We don't tell anyone, and then we blow out our candles for to send the wish out there. But here they blow out the candles and then make a wish. So I don't think you're lagging, Jody. I think it's I don't know if it's my internet connection or something, but so oh my God, that is so wow, I'm going to read your comment out because that makes me feel really special. Jody said, I still have every one you sent. We use them as part of our decorations every year in our Christmas decorations. The love and light you put into them was so sweet. So don't feel bad. Some of us love them. Okay, well, see that inspires me to do even like a electronic version, like an email version of it, so that I can still um, do what I used to do. So that is inspiring, Jody. So maybe I will do that this year. Yeah, exactly. So Jody read the comment that Sam wrote. So they leave out a mince pie, which is sort of like a pecan pie for us, but it's mince meat, which isn't actually meat. It's like minced fruit and then made into a little tart. So it's called a mince pie. They're really good and really addictive. And people here eat too many of them at Christmas, including me. Mince pie and a drink, whatever drink you want. So milk or a beer and carrots are for the reindeers. But I think that she said beer, but I think it was actually like some other type of liquor that they used to leave out for Santa, some kind of alcohol. So you can imagine what Santa's like when he gets to the UK. And I hope that he delivers presents. Let's see. So you guys are behind. Oh, yeah. So he's totally wasted when he goes to Canada to deliver presents if he's having all those shots over in Europe from every house. Wow, we're lucky. We've got our presents every year. So, well, luckily, Jody, I don't think Santa, the reindeer drives. So he's like, it's like someone else is driving and he's in a taxi. Jody said she's going to leave Santa some wine. I'm just thinking about wine drinkers and thinking that are you really going to leave it for Santa, or are you going to walk by it again and think, wine? Samantha said that she always left ale out for Santa when they were growing up. A few years ago, when at the kids' school, they were selling these little homemade bags to raise money, and it had a little reindeer, like they were sewing cloth bags, and inside they had oats and stuff, and it was reindeer food for leaving out for Santa for his reindeer. That was really creative and cute and raised money for the school. So we bought a couple of those. So Christmas traditions, having stockings. Oh, that's something that is different. In Canada, because stockings started with like hanging your socks on the mantle of the fireplace to dry if they were wet, then Santa came down the chimney and he would put presents in to the socks that were hanging, the stocking socks hanging on the chimney. In the UK, they don't hang the stockings by the chimney with care, and they don't leave them by the tree. For some reason, Santa fills the stockings and leaves them in the room beside them in bed, which I don't know about the Tooth Fairy and Santa, but I think that it would be difficult to do that. I guess with magic, it's easier to not wake up a child and bring in something to put beside them in bed. So, but that's something that's different here, that they get their stockings in bed. A tradition that we had in Canada in our family, and we do it here too, is that you're allowed to open your stocking as soon as you get up, even if the parents aren't up and everything else. So whatever's in your stocking, you can open that, and it gives you something to look forward to. If there's little toys in there, you can play with them. If there's little snacks in there, you can eat them and everything else, and you don't have to wait for the parents. But all the presents under the tree, you have to wait. So in Canada, when we got older, and we were a little bit more patient, we would have a really big breakfast. But like we would wake up and have a really big breakfast with like pancakes and bacon and eggs and like all sausages, like all the breakfasty things, and then open presents after, because we, like I said, we were a bit more patient. Whereas when we were younger, it was like, who cares about eating or food or anything? Let's get the present. Yeah, Samantha said children here are heavy sleepers. I'm imagining that maybe the adults give the children a little so they sleep through the night so that Santa can put the stockings beside them. I'm just kidding, but I know in the olden days, they to help a baby sleep or something, they might give them some stuff. So Yes. Okay. So what else do you guys want to know? I don't know if again my mom's on, so she can write something if she can think of a Christmas tradition that we would do. And when I was younger in Canada, and I will try to think in my head if there's anything else that I missed here that we do. Christmas tradition for us here is on Christmas Day. Steve makes the meal, and I make everything look pretty and host. And it's not because I can't make the meal, but for a while, me and Steve had trouble working in the kitchen together because we're both quite controlling. Now I know that if I work in the kitchen with Steve, I just become the sous chef. I let him lead and I just do the thing. But it works out better because I care about the details and everything, like setting the table and making things look nice and everything else more than he does. And he cares about having a really nice Christmas dinner, and he can cook really well. It works out good for us that way. Of course, I feel bad because I know how my mom used to make Christmas dinner all the time, and it's a lot of work. So I do feel bad that Steve does it every year and he's exhausted, and it's a lot of work. But um, it just works out better that way. So if he wants to change it, he can just let me know. And there's some dishes that we can try and make beforehand. It'll be a different Christmas this year because whether we want it to be or not, it's just going to be the family. So it's going to be a small Christmas. Although I did get like the biggest turkey that will fit in our oven because you can always freeze the meat and do things with it. So I do have a large turkey in the chest freezer waiting for Christmas Day. Yeah, I know that I know they have Catholic churches down here, Mom. And Steve was raised Catholic as well, so we could go to midnight mass here, but I like sleep, so I don't know. I have no excuse. And we raise the kids in a Christian sense, with morals and everything else, but we don't raise them Catholic enough to go to mass and that. Although I do miss it, I like the sense of community and the rituals and stuff from church. So I'll talk to. Oh no, we can't go to midnight mass this year, anyways. It might be televised, but um. So there's just something I thought of too with a tradition here that I do is we've invited one of Santa's scout elves, like the elf on the shelf, to join us for Christmas. And it's been, I think, 3 or maybe 4 years that his name is Aaron. So that's a tradition that happens here. So Aaron will be joining us again. Um, well, I think he usually comes December 1st. So to be honest, that's only in a few days. So yes, Christmas is coming quickly, and shopping. Again, we're in a lockdown here, so non-essential shops are closed until I believe December 3rd is when the lockdown is over. I'm not sure. And then it'll be a rush to get Christmas presents. The stores are going to be ridiculous. I do not look forward to that. So it might be a bit of Amazon shopping for Christmas presents this year, as well as like we don't need anything, and even the kids, they're so spoiled that they don't need anything, and sometimes they don't even want anything because they don't know what to ask for because they have everything that they want or need. Not like we're not millionaires or anything like that, but I mean we have a good life. So but it's always fun to have things to open, even if they're simple things or useful things. It's just fun to have things to open. So I'll have to think about what we're going to do for Christmas presents this year. I bought a few things, but not much. Yes, Aaron, like with the quarantining, I think that they're quarantined at the North Pole um, enough that I don't think that they have coronavirus there. So I will make sure that when he is here, he's keeping his 2 meters apart from us, and that that he's wearing a mask. Oh, voucher. Do you guys have voucher in Canada? I always see the commercials here for voucher. I guess it's like, well, and I'm sure you guys have Wish too, and I've ordered things from Wish, but that usually they come from China, so they take a long time to get here. But I've never ordered anything from Voucher, so I'll have to check it out, Samantha. But you guys know what I mean for ordering stuff on Amazon. And the good thing about like Amazon is that we can buy gifts for the people in Canada. We just log on to the Canadian Amazon, but it's still our account, so we can order things and we can say that it's a gift. So you can even get gift wrapping. And but we don't usually do that. We just send it to, if I'm buying something for my sister, I might send it to the other sister to wrap and give it to her. If so, it's like that. And then they do the same. They send stuff here through Amazon. Yeah, I think the name Voucher is really funny too. I think it's like a play on wow, right? And voucher. So voucher, like, because it's like products that you get a good deal on. It, I've done well with the babbling today. It's past 45 minutes already. And I haven't moved a lot. My legs are sore from sitting in the same spot, um, but I'm doing well. I think I need to smile more too when I'm doing this. I know that I talk and I'm in a good mood, but I sometimes I'm just I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just babbling, rambling. I mean rambling hour, not babbling hour. So, anything else you guys want to know about? We'll obviously be talking about Christmas more in the coming weeks because it's coming up to Christmas. So, I'll try to think of other traditions, and I have some stories that I can share with you too. My favorite Christmas memory and other such things that we can talk about. And you guys can tell me some funny stories or some good stories about at Christmas. I remember one Christmas when I was up in Grand Prairie, which is 4.5 hour drive from where I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta. And I had cousins and we didn't, it wasn't a normal every year tradition, but I remember some old adult cousins and aunties and uncles, even with their drinks in hand, and we went out the house and we're going door to door singing Christmas carols. I don't even remember if we went up to houses or if we just sang Christmas carols around the streets really loud. And I think I was too young to understand what alcohol does to you at that time, but I do remember I can see specifically a certain cousin holding her drink and having a great time. But it was a good memory. Do you know what I miss? I miss like Christmas and New Year's and stuff like that growing up, and my parents would put on the music really loud and people would dance in our living room and stuff. We would dance, and I miss that. I miss just dancing at home. Why don't we do that more? Why don't we put on music and dance with our family and enjoy ourselves? We don't need to go to a club or out somewhere to dance. We can dance at home. We all have the enough musical stereos and equipment to play, music to dance to. So maybe I'll do that. And actually, I should break out the Christmas music again as well. Mm. Oh my gosh. Wait, what? Oh, that's so funny. So what's up?
Oh, she went with what Dad was doing.
No. So.
Bedtime.
Okay. Hugs. Love you. Say goodnight to everyone.
Night.
That's Aurora
No,
going to bed.
I'm Bob.
And
Is Dad upstairs?
yeah, Dad's up in the room. Yeah.
All right. And the dog is.
Yeah. Can you let her in? Thanks. So Jody said that in the kids' stockings they don't get underwear or socks in their stockings from Santa anymore because they were calling Santa a pervert. Because why would Santa be buying you underwear? That's funny and sad. Chantel says good night, Aurora.
Sam, say good night.
Do you remember, Chantel? Do you remember how little she used to be? And now she's 15. Well, because your kids are like.
No.
I can't remember what age, so 19 and maybe 14. What? You've been replying to yourself on there. Well, I mean, I think people are still reading the comments, Samantha, so, or I've been reading the comments anyways, I think. Yeah, the kids are all grown up. I know, it's crazy. Allison's going to be 17 in January, which is coming. Oh, 11? She's only 11, Chantel? That's Chantel's daughter I'm talking about. I thought she was older than that. So Erica's 12 right now. So I had thought that she was older than Erica. So 19 and 11. Yeah, I'm going to just have I'm parched. I just need a drink.
Bye.
The Coke Zero today with the Santa Claus. So, yeah, I'm excited about the living room and dining room. I purposely did this where you guys can't see the walls, so you can't see the color or the way it looks yet, but it looks great and we're really happy with it. That's Jody says they kept asking how Santa knew what size underwear they were, and she died laughing. The things you don't think about these things now. I mean, you don't think about these things because it was never a question before, but now the kids, it makes sense. Like it makes sense. Hi, Lena. Lena's back wandering. That's funny. So I'll have to take that into consideration when there's younger kids. Erica and the rest of them know the. But we've always said that Santa, like you only get presents from Santa if you believe in him. So that's one less present that you get if you don't believe in Santa. And so that's a Christmas tradition too. Getting presents from Santa still. And when I was a kid, I always wondered how Santa had the same types of wrapping paper as my parents. So something that Santa does because of that here in our house is that the presents from Santa are always wrapped in one type of wrapping paper, and it's different than any of the other presents under the tree. So maybe he does that at this house just because he knows when I was a kid that I was curious about that, or the handwriting. My mom and dad, their handwriting can look quite similar to each other sometimes. So, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised that Santa might have similar writing to them too. But I guess Santa, you could use like a computer and printer to make labels now too, and nobody would know what his handwriting was like if he did that. Sorry, playing with my hair again. Oh yeah, this shelf is, thank you. It is I'm not going to show you above because like the living room because everything is taken out and everything. The other shelves are not, they don't have anything on them, but it's well, me and Steve were talking about it. It's like I can't remember now. See, I called it a Dutch dresser, but then he said it's a, oh, what is it? Something dresser, and then we went with another country, and then a French dresser. So we don't even know it, but it's a big, like, it's not a china cabinet because it's open, but it's the one where you can put your plates like on it. So it's a dressing. It's a dresser because it originally, and we looked this up, they would be in kitchens, and it would be where you dressed the meat and everything, and it had all the stuff on it, so you dress your food there. It's so hard with what the right age is with the Santa thing to, and then how do you, if you teach your kids not to lie, but you've been lying to them for years. But I love how the news and everything, they track Santa and they see where Santa's going, and it's like a worldwide lie, but we all do it, and it's the magic of Christmas, and that's the thing that we have to keep alive. And that's what I tell the kids too, that it's just the magic. So Santa's real, even if his because Saint Nick was a real person and he made toys and stuff for the children of the village, and maybe parents just help him out now. But it is, even if he has helpers and we're the elves, it's still the magic of Christmas. Um, yeah, I know. So part of the thing with decorating is we don't want to make holes a bunch of holes in the walls with like thumbnails and stuff. So it's going to be a lot of 3M, the hooks that, and use the sticker things on the back. And then when you're done, you pull the bottom and it takes it off, and it's not supposed to leave any marks and stuff. So I'm going to have to find creative ways to hang different things for Christmas decorations and stuff. But even just talking about it now, I'm so excited. But I have so much Christmas stuff that I was up in the loft and I brought everything forward to come down the entrance to the loft. But like I said before about bins being heavy and everything else, I need to pass them down to someone. So I was going to do it this weekend. So I had enough help with the kids and Steve to pass things down. But I want the house to be clean and organized and back to in order before I bring the stuff down. So it is close to being that, but it's not quite. So probably tomorrow, maybe when people are home from school and such, they can help me bring all the stuff down. And Allison is home tomorrow from college as well. Well, she has class online at 2:15, but she can maybe help me with some of the stuff. She hates it, but I love making her do it because it'll build up her muscles so she's strong like mama. Um, Father Christmas is magic. Okay, so the other thing, yes. So here in the UK, it's Father Christmas, and this is something that people will want to argue with me about, but they say that Santa's from Lapland, and we all know that Santa's from the North Pole. And the North Pole is where? In Canada. Although, what's the other country? Not Russia, is it? Something else that argues about where the North Pole is and who owns it. Nobody really owns the North Pole, but technically it's in Canada. So, but Father Christmas is from Lapland. So that's where you send the post to for him. So magic. Okay, Father Christmas is the magic of Christmas. Therefore, he is real in us, and the magic and the feeling of Christmas. That's exactly what I mean. He is real. Saint Nicholas was a real person, and it is kept alive in all of us. So if you don't believe in Santa, you don't get a present from Santa, which means you don't get your stocking filled either, because that's from Santa too. So, and even though, like I said, Erica knows uh, about everything now, the even Aaron the elf, the scout elf that's coming to watch to make sure we're good, he's still going to come this year, even if we are getting older, because it's a tradition now, and it's um you know something that I love doing, and I take a picture of it every day and then put it on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. So, and I'm going to make books too. I'm going to get books printed for each year and his adventures here. So tell me some of your guys' Christmas traditions and your favorite things, whether it's right now in the comments or in the next week or in the next coming weeks, and we can talk about different ones and take on some of the ones that other people like. Ooh, one of the things that I've loved growing up is that my parents had this one bauble. It was silver and metal, like actually like metal, and it was engraved and it looked really pretty, and it had, I think, a red ribbon, and you wouldn't know where it was hung in the tree because they would do it after the tree was decorated and everything else. They would hang that one somewhere on the inside of the tree where nobody could see it because otherwise we'd play with it. But if you turned it on, it had a bird like tweet, 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 tweet. And maybe I'll get my mom to, if I don't know if she's got her Christmas decorations out yet or not, but when she gets them out, I'll try and get her to play it and I'll record it so that I can let you guys hear what it did. That is one of my favorite Christmas things ever. I don't know if I would be able to find something like that because it's quite old, but every year having that bauble on the tree and when they would play it and it would play like a little bird noise, that I loved that. That was a Christmas tradition. And after, if we helped decorate the tree, my mom would put on her teardrops, and some older people watching might know if they had, because in the olden days the baubles and stuff, they were made of glass, and my mom she has baubles that are glass, but she also has these teardrop ones that are glass, and they're really, really pretty. And mom and dad would put those on themselves so that none of them got broken. Actually, something when I was a kid that was so awesome is like somehow we would go to sleep one night, and when we woke up in the morning, the whole house was decorated. And I mean, like, the not tinsel, what's it called? Like the things that go from the corners of the room to the center with the dangly things, and like the Christmas tree was up, and like as we got older, we got to help decorate the tree. But this is when I was younger, and it was just crazy how like in one night, mom and dad would take out all the Christmas decorations and have the house decorated. So when we woke up in the morning, everything was done. And the magic. See, last year I was mad because um, in the summertime we had got the hall, stairs, and landing, like the foyer, if you want to say it in French, the hall, stairs, and landing uh, replastered and painted. And then we had scaffolding in the entranceway because it's an open, like with a balcony. And we had the scaffolding in there, and we needed an electrician to come and do the lights. So by Christmas time, we still had, actually, to be honest, we still don't have an electrician to do what we need to do yet. But the scaffolding's gone now. But at Christmas time, the scaffolding was still there. So I was frustrated because the scaffolding was in the entranceway and it was in the way. And then things that were supposed to go in the entranceway were in the dining room still and I was just so frustrated. I didn't even want to decorate for Christmas. The kids were sad about that. And I didn't think they cared anyways if I was the one doing all the work, taking everything out of the loft and doing it and everything. But they were sad about that. And me and Steve had a birthday that we went away for. This is before Corona and or COVID, and we went away for one day and night. And when we came back, it was decorated because my stepson Owen, who will be 29 in a few days, had went up in the loft and, as best he could, snuck some of the decorations out of the bins and everything else and brought them down. And I can't remember if he got the kids to help or not, but he had put out some of the decorations and made things look nice, and that meant a lot because I do love it decorated, and the kids do too. And it's just a feeling of magic. It just the way things are at Christmas, whether it's people's attitudes towards each other, whether it's like everybody doing nice things, and the energy of the world is just different. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, there's just a magic in the air at that time of year. And then with the lights and the decorations and everything, it's just a magical time of year. And I think that because there's so many different religions and so many different um, celebrations and stuff, instead of telling us that, not to say Merry Christmas, or that it has to be Happy Holidays, or that has to be something else because it was based on a Christian um, I think there's two, right? Like the birth of Jesus and the Christian part of it and everything else, and all that is very Christian. But Santa Claus and those traditions have nothing to do with the Christian part of it. So it can be for everyone. It's not just if you believe in Christ and such, but also even if you don't celebrate it, having all these different celebrations from different religions and cultures, why not just have more celebrations throughout the year instead of saying that, like Happy Hanukkah, Chinese New Year's, Ukrainian Christmas. There's so many different, and I could go into the other ones too. Like there was just, I can't remember what it was called, a couple days ago, the Festival of Lights. And so there's so many, and we can just embrace them and celebrate. And so this is a holiday season with Hanukkah coming up after Christmas and everything else. It's a, yes, and the magic of and I don't care if, like I said to my mom on here, I don't go to midnight mass, and I am a Christian. I believe that Jesus was a person, he did exist, and that there is a God, a higher power, and everything else. But I also believe that a lot of the religions are based on the same things, and I don't believe that any one religion is right, and I don't believe that any, that I think they're all, in the end, we all go to the same place, and there is a higher power that's above us, and it's a loving place. Um, but I'm not going to stop having Christmas, and I'm not going to stop having that. And I'm not going to stop putting out my little nativity scene too, because if Jesus was a real person and that was his birthday and he was a great person, like if we celebrate people like Mother Teresa and, people who really gave to this world, then even if you just, believe that Jesus was a good person who lived and everything, it's a nice story. It's a nice things. So I'm not going to stop doing any of the Christmas traditions and things that I like doing. If anything, I would rather embrace other people's traditions than stop celebrating mine. So let me see what's going on here. Santa always brings me wine and books. I love Santa. That was Jody. We know Father Christmas is from the North Pole, but for some reason, if you're going to visit him, then you have to go to Lapland. We're weird. Well, you know what? Okay, so maybe the thing is, Samantha, that Lapland is a real place, and it's not that the North Pole isn't a real place, but if you went to where the North Pole is supposed to be, there's nothing there. So even though Santa lives at the North Pole, it's obviously a magical place, and it, whether it's a different dimension or whatever, you don't see his village and the elves and everything. So it must be a different dimension. So maybe why you got to visit him in Lapland is that it's a physical place in this dimension that you can actually see him. I like that they do Santa's grottos here, which is like sort of like when you go and get your picture on Santa and meet Santa and everything, except that they do like a whole, it's like almost like doing a room decorated for Santa with lots of stuff, and instead of just one chair and a bit of things beside it. So I like the Santa's grottos that they do here. In Turkey, that's the country of Turkey, there is a little island called St. Nicholas Island, and apparently Santa owns it. That's interesting. Makes sense, though. So I'm over the hour, the rambling hour. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before I go? And I know that my family will say this too. You guys are right there. I know you can hear me. I don't need to shout. See, you can probably hear me just as well if I talk like this. But for some reason, I talk super duper loud. Yes, Samantha, I do remember the Santa's Grotto at the school fair, and I was actually thinking of talking about that. That was one of my favorite things. Samantha was on the PTA, Parent Teachers Association, for the school when our kids were in school, and I brought some of my decorations, and other parents brought some decorations in, and we made this whole, what was the tree? There was like all these different Christmas trees, and yes, Mom, garland is the stuff that goes from the center to the corners and everything. There's garland everywhere. I loved the way that you decorated the house when I was growing up, Mom, and I appreciate it. Even if you don't think it was worth it, it was worth it for all of us. It made it magical. And Samantha, the school grotto and school fair, like that again, is one of my favorite memories. The way you did it, it was so magical, and all the trees and everything else. So we'll have to do something like that again somewhere for people to visit at around Christmas time. Um, I don't know what else to talk about. Uh, oh, something they do here at Christmas time too is there's a thing called the round table. I'm pretty sure it's called the round table, and it's some kind of Samantha, you can tell me what the round table is exactly, but it's like some kind of association or um, what are those things called? I don't remember what the word is I'm thinking of, but they do Santa's sleigh. So it has speakers on it, really loud, and I think it's pulled behind a truck though. And they have a wagon, basically. You know when you go for sleigh rides, like behind horses, and it's like a big wagon sleigh thing, but on wheels now instead of sleigh, whatever. Anyways, so Santa's on there. They go around every street in Middlewich, and I'm sure they do it in other places in England too, but we live in Middlewich, and they go around every street, and you can look online to see when Santa's going to be down your street, and you go out and you, okay, well, like he doesn't come down our street because our street is basically a dead end where our house is, so we have to go down to the entrance of our street, and he goes down that way, and you go and you can wave to Santa, and the speakers on it, and the music's really loud, and if I'm not mistaken, maybe does he throw candy off of it? See, I've forgotten already. But I am gonna. I had a video from a few years ago that with the Santa sleigh when it goes by. So that's something that I love that they do here too, and the fact that you can look online and find out where he's going to be and when he's going to go by, and the music's really loud and it's very enjoyable. So I like that. Yes, maybe there is portals all over the world to get to the North Pole, Jody. That makes sense. that would make sense for Santa's traveling too, because even though there's a time difference, so like say even in Alberta and Edmonton, it's 7 hours from here. So he has that with the world clock that he can go to different places. It's still a lot of places to go in one night. So it makes sense if you had portals to like the different continents and stuff. The Round Table Association in Middlewich, where they do charity work throughout the year and hold cider nights, etc. At Christmas, they pull his sleigh on a trailer by a tractor. The snowmen give drumstick lollies. You can hear the music streets away, and it's awesome. So I'll try and record it again this year. I'm assuming that they'll be able to do that, but everybody, yeah, I mean, because you keep your distance from it anyways on a normal year. You don't go onto the road. You just stand on the sidewalks and watch it go by and wave. So they might be able to do that. I missed, this isn't for Christmas, but since the COVID, when it first started and there was the first lockdown and everything, we would go out. I think I've told you guys this before. On Sunday nights at 8 p.m., we would go out and we would clap for the NHS, which is the National Health Service. So all the doctors and nurses and everybody and all the frontline workers and everything, we would go outside and we would stand on at our house, and the neighbors would stand at their house. So we were all still social distancing, but we would clap everybody in the streets, and you would see it on the news from different places all over, and we would all clap for 2 minutes to say thank you. And it did, even though you couldn't be right next to your neighbors, you had to be 2 meters, 6 feet away. It brought this closeness, the sense of community. And I really think that it felt like the olden days where you knew your neighbors or you met your neighbors, and being isolated at home, uh, there was just this sense of going back to the olden days in a bit of a way. So that was a really nice thing that they started here, and I wish, especially that we're in a lockdown now. Not that we don't really appreciate the NHS still, but I liked that we did that, and it was a nice thing to do as a community, to go out and clap every Sunday. Okay, so Samantha says, I read that they are still that they're doing it still, so I'm assuming that she's talking about the round table and Santa's sleigh going around the streets, and that makes me happy because I really liked it. So, okay, so viewers, I always feel bad when people are actually watching and then I have to cut it off. So, if there's anything else you guys want to talk about, then I can keep rambling. And this is what I want it to be. I mean, I could talk about lots of things that I think of talking about, but I like it to be interactive. I like it to be like a group thing. So if you guys bring up things and I talk about them too. So Merwin, I know that you were talking about your wife and the working out and stuff. So like I said, I'll give you a link to what I do. And if she wants to, talk about any of it or what she wants to do for working out, I can definitely, help her and try and inspire her to reach her goals. And but like I said, in the next coming weeks, we'll talk about Christmas more. And unfortunately, because the camera is a bit blurry, it doesn't make the background look super super sharp or anything. But I'll take a picture of the background, and so you guys can look at the stuff better if I put the picture on Facebook. So we'll see how the weather is tonight. Like I said, it's supposed to be +2, which is, for the Canadians, they're like shut up because they have snow everywhere. But it's the first frost day, so if we have frost tonight, that means I'll have a lot of work to do after the dahlia leaves turn black and the cannas. So I'll have to cut them all down and dig up the dahlias and put them away for the winter, and put all the cannas away as well for the winter. So I need a warehouse just to overwinter things that can't stay outside in the frost or in the freezing temperatures, because we do get a few days of freezing temperatures here where I live. And people don't realize when they share their pictures on Facebook of the snow in and across Canada and different places that to them it's like, oh, it's snowing again. And to me, I just look at the pictures and think, I like them. I keep liking them, and they're probably like, why is she liking this? But I miss it. It's beautiful, and you don't know what you have until it's gone. And it's just, I know it might be cold and it might be annoying having to warm up your car and to shovel and all those things, but please enjoy how beautiful the snow looks and the naked trees and all of that. Oh, and my mom has, we had to look them up. She took pictures of these birds that were in her garden, and they were eating bird seed from the bird feeders, and then on the ground they were eating the bird seed that had fallen. And we had to look them up and see what they were. And we found out they were called gray partridges, or sometimes they're called Russian partridges, or there's a few different names for them, but they're called gray partridges. And I've never seen them before, but I guess they do live like in Alberta, and they live in the grasslands and stuff usually. But they do. There has been other gardens that have had them in them, yards, and so I think my mom has some visitors that might be staying for a while. But they looked really cool and sitting all together. They poofed up, and I was like, those are some fat robins if those are robins. But they had like really gray chests and then speckled wings, and the red is only in their face. So I asked if it was robins, but mom said it wasn't robins. And then when I saw a different picture of them, you could tell that they were a different type of bird, and they're about chicken size. And yeah, so she has gray partridges in her back garden. I didn't count how many. Yeah, partridges in a pear tree. Actually, my mom's bird feeders are hanging from an apple tree. So it was partridges in an apple tree, but it is still funny. I think I want to like add some of my mom's pictures that she sends me of the snow in the garden and the even those birds, and I might add them to my Facebook just because I miss that part of my life back in Canada. I'm grateful for where I am, and I really encourage people to live other places in the world, even if it's for a couple of years, or at least travel if you can. And well, when all this restrictions are done and everything, but even living outside of the city I grew up in, outside of the community that I grew up in, you experience different things and learn about different types of people and everything else. And even if you end up going back to where you started, you have all those experiences and different things. And I thought about that, if I ever move back to Canada and getting to be with my friends and family there. But even being here, there's people like Samantha and stuff that, it would be so hard to leave this too. That, you have this life where you live. And yeah, but I do encourage people to travel if they can and even try living somewhere else in the world or different places in the world if the opportunity comes up. And like I said, once you say you move somewhere for a year, it sounds like a long time, but once you get back home, it feels like you never left, but you have all those experiences and memories. So I think I'm gonna go. No, no, Jody. Drake. No, no, not Drake. That's Chantel's son. No, you can leave the kids with someone else, and just move somewhere else in the world. No, I don't think I tried to get rid of mine, but it's not possible. I think I'd miss them too much too if I left them behind. Samantha said she might move to Canada. Well, Samantha, if you moved to Canada, I would encourage me maybe to move back because I would miss you too much. Samantha used to live in Middlewich, and then she moved out of Middlewich, and it's quite an expensive place to live. Luckily, Steve bought his house years and years ago, but it's grown a lot since. So um, I understand why she moved out of Middlewich, but it devastated me. And yes, it might only be 15 or 20 minutes to her town, but it's like, it's still not close enough. Her parents still live in Middlewich, but yeah, I just wish she was closer. Jody wants to move somewhere where it's hot all the time. Well, that's Steve's plan, is to retire in Spain, but I would not get tired of sunshine every day, and warmth is nice, but I might get tired of the fact that it's the same all the time. I like the four seasons. I like the changes. I miss the four distinct seasons in Canada. Here, I'm used to sort of how it changes, like that there is the seasons, but they're not as distinct as in your face as they are in Canada, where you get the seasonal differences. So yeah, I don't know about being somewhere warm, but it might be like the snowbirds. So that's Canadians that go over to America and Florida and such, or Arizona, and they fly south for the winter. So it might be like that, maybe in the colder months living in Spain. But um, but I don't know. It's not. There's not really hot months in England. There's just some that are a bit colder. But Australia, I would love to even travel to Australia. That's one of my plans one day, let alone live there. But we will see. Anywho, I'm gonna let you guys go for today, and I'll be on next week, and I will be on time and have my stuff together, and I'll use my phone next week so that I can have a guest chat with us. So it would be a vertical video because I don't think I can do a horizontal video on my phone, but I'll look that up in the meantime for this week. I will try the Never Fail buns again this week and see if they turn out. I'll use fresh live yeast, so it will work. And my Samantha's uncle travels between Australia and the UK between summers, so he has 2 summers. Yeah, but again, it's good, but yeah, because right now it's winter here and in Canada, but in Australia it's oh no, sorry, it's autumn right now here, going into winter, but in Australia it's spring going into their summer. So I understand. All right, love you guys. Yep, virtual hugs and take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next Sunday, 8 p.m. for London time. And I know Jody, you're in Saskatchewan, so I think you guys have the same. I know you guys don't change your clocks, but I think right now I can't remember if you're the same time as Alberta during this time or the other time, but it will be 8 o'clock here, 8 p.m., and it'll be 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you, Jody, if you're on the same as Mountain Standard Time right now, it'll be 1 o'clock. If not, it'll be 12 o'clock, I think. So, yes. All right. So 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time and 8 p.m. here. I don't know why I repeat myself 100 times. But I will see you guys then, and I'll have a guest speaker next week. Guest rambling. And I love you guys. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later. And send me your Christmas stories and your Christmas traditions and things to talk about. Love you guys. Bye.